So this is a follow-up on my EURUSD. So what I'm seeing here is it, and by the way, we will never reach that point, because if we do reach that point, this was back in 1983, so this either means that there's a recession or some type of natural disaster happen between Europe and America. That's the only way we're gonna reach that point again. The lows that we might scoop, it might be that point there, which was back in 2001. You should actually go and read reports on what happened during this time from 1995 up to 2001. Why was there that drop in the market? And then what we can see is, like if I draw a trend line here, because what I'm seeing is that the market came up, it went down, came up again, went down, came up, went down, came up again. But what I see is that if I draw a trend line there, you see what happened here was the market went up there, came down, and then it went up, and then it came down there. Like I would have bought in, because now it started forming a trend line, you know, with that point there and that point there. So I would have actually bought in right there, and then I would have placed my stop loss just below that point. Like I would have placed it somewhere there. Like I would have bought in there, placed my stop loss there, placed my take profit there, and then I would have took a ratio of 1:1. So the loss and the gain would have been 50-50. And then maybe I would have placed for a new high, like let's say half my first. So I would have placed it somewhere there. So it would have been first take profit, second take profit, TP2, and this would have been TP1. And that would have been my stop loss, and this would have been my entry point. If it was back then, and then I would have took profit once, twice. So what we can see here is that every time it breaks, it forms a trend and it breaks a trend. Every time it breaks a trend, like in this case, it actually broke that trend, and then from there on it just went up. So what I'm assuming is the same here. Is either it's gonna come to that point, break that trend line, because it never broke that trend line before. It's gonna break that trend line, and if it does break that trend line, I'm gonna wait for it to reach that point there, and then I'm gonna make that my entry point, and then I'm gonna place my stop loss just below that trend line there. So I'm gonna place it somewhere there. My stop loss, I would place it somewhere there. Yeah. And then my first take profit will be 1:1. So I'll put my first take profit there, TP2, TP1 actually. Then my second take profit, I would put it there, make that TP2. And then my third take profit, I would put there. And then maybe an URI, maybe somewhere there, make it a take profit 4. Let's see if it's gonna break there. But if it doesn't break there, if it doesn't break there, it's gonna come down, I'm assuming. Maybe at that point there, go up again, and then it might break that point there. But when it does break the point here, I'm gonna wait for it to get to that point. Actually, if it's gonna come down to reach the previous downtrend line, go up again. If it does break there, if it does break there and there, then I'm gonna wait for it to actually reach this point here, to reach that point there, and then I'm gonna make that my entry point, and then I'm gonna put my stop loss somewhere just below that point there, and then I'm gonna put my first take profit here. So this will be my stop loss. My first take profit will be there, TP1. My second take profit will be there, TP2. And then my third take profit will be there, TP3. And then my fourth take profit will be there, TP4. And then maybe a new high, TP5 somewhere around there, 1.8. But believe me, I don't think we're gonna go lower than that point. Because if it's gonna go lower than that point, it might just form a recession or something. Then it means that we're going back way back to 1982, when we had no buildings and there wasn't a strong trade between America and Europe, which is something I don't think is going to happen. And that's my follow-up on EURUSD. But just remember that we never broke that trend line there. So whenever we're gonna break that trend line, if we do break it, that's when you actually wanna buy. Because then we're in the upwards trend, and we can start expecting upwards movement. So whenever it breaks a trend line here, that's when we can expect. If it's going to be there, it doesn't matter. Whenever we break the trend line,